Where do vampires store all their gold? Well, in a blood bank. What's going on, YouTube? It's Friday. We're inside the Hollow City, inside the Cold Harbor, to go over our first of 2 weekend vendors. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These bad boys are going to be available till early Monday morning. And we start with a Bone Sculptor Circular. Now, I don't know what you do with this. Is this like a holiday wreath for Halloween people? I have no idea. And then we have a Crow Totem that is gruesome, which actually loses value over time, interestingly. And then we have the brand new item here, which is the Reach Gathered Staves. Then we have a Reach Totem Twig Crescent. Then we have one of the items that sees its kind of highest gain in value on average, which is the Reach Totem Twig Raven. Then we have an item that also gains value as an actual like purchase price from this vendor versus its retail price, is the Tree Henge Lady Green Lady, which actually does look pretty cool. It's pretty big, but it's animated, but it is a lot of gold. And we have an item that literally gains 48 gold on average if you were to purchase it. We have a Witch's Torch Wretched, which actually does look pretty good, but I mean, there's a lot of lights in the game that look very similar to this. Then we have the Witch's Totem Bog. Now, this item loses average value, but I do just want to point out that when you have something that is sold for 200 gold, this is not worth 200 gold. So when you use an average, you can be beaten up by outliers. This is definitely an outlier, but the Witch's Tree Captive, you could see, is also kind of a bit of a loser, but it also has a very, very low range, and the Witch's Tree Charred has the least amount of range. But what I will tell you, really cool thing you can actually do with the Witch's Totem Bog is you can flip it upside down and put it under your floors and create like this green miasma if you wanted to for your houses. I don't know if any of you guys are like, ooh, Jake, I really wish there was like a green hue, but for Christmas themed houses, I actually bought a couple of these because I plan to flip them upside down and kind of have like a red one, you know, kind of like a red haze mixed with the green one. So it looks very like Christmas themed. I know that we're like 2 seasons ahead, but I actually do plan to buy a couple more of these. Hopefully I can find one for 200 gold on the ESO market, but I will also be buying some from this vendor here just to play it safe to make sure I do get a couple of them. And next up, we are inside of their Northern High Rock Gate inside of Cyrodiil to go over our second of 2 weekly vendors. And as always, please hit the like and subscribe button because we're really close to 34K subs. So please hit the subscribe button and let us see what is in store. We start with Crafty Alfeek. This is a bit of a juicer magooser for me. It's my favorite ESO set in the game. I probably used this set longer than any other set in the entirety of PvP. Now, what's important to note, this comes from Northern Elsewhere. So it's actually not super profitable or valuable because it's just one of those sets that's been around for a long time. And because people kill dragons pretty frequently in Northern Elsewhere, you get a lot of jewelry pieces. So you really don't need to buy this for gold. But what it does is it just gives you Maximum Magicka. So in a meta where Maximum Magicka is relevant, this is the best PvP set in the game. Here's the problem. Max stat builds are out of favor currently. People are building max crit builds. People are building, you know, kind of counter meta builds with like the Malakaz Band of Brutality. You've got the mainline sets that people are running with a Monomyth. It's a very burst, very blow you up very quickly type meta. And max stat builds, while they could do decent in those metas, we've had Hardened Ward get nerfed. So unfortunately, this set has fallen out of favor. In a max stat meta, this is a 10 out of 10 set. And it's hard to say how it works in a not max stat meta because you could still build a fantastic PvP build. So I'm going to give it a 9/10 out of 10, depending on which meta we're currently in, but currently it's going to lean more towards the fantastic side. You can still build a fantastic build where you put all of the max stat resources, skill lines together and really go for something crazy. But the problem is it's not going to be as good as the traditional meta sets that you're seeing so prevalent right now because it doesn't synergize with them, unfortunately. Yes, you could run Crafty Alfeek and Rallying Cry, but you're probably not going to get as much benefit by running those 2 set combinations versus a ton of other, like Essence Thief and Rallying Cry. You know, you're probably going to get more value out of that, especially if you wanted to do like an up close and personal sorcerer. Stam Sorks seem like they're more popular than Mag Sorks right now. There's just a whole lot of cattywampusness going on, and we'll obviously continue to break down sets as new information and new metas come out, but That's Crafty Alfique. Next up from the Depths of Malatar is the Frozen Watcher set. Now, this one is a dungeon set, so it's not purchasable. Is it worth it? Well, it gives you stam health, stam, summon a blizzard around you while you're bracing, inflicting 831 frost damage every second to enemies within 6 meters. This effect scales off your maximum health and has a 15% chance to inflict a chilled status effect. Unfortunately, a set like this is all over the place. One, the damage is not very high, and if you built a max health build, you're not going to easily be able to build in a set like this. You're not really going to be able to do any sort of PvP shenanigans easily with a set like this. The other problem is that the chilled status effect, while neat, is really not as hard as you might think to put on people, so you're just not getting a lot of value from it, but it looks super cool. That's a bonus. The other annoying thing about this is if it was just like always a blizzard, or a blizzard like every time you light attack twice, or something like Malakina's proc, it would be a lot cooler because then you could, you know, do more as opposed to bracing. So that's why this set kind of falls short. Just so you guys understand, like, why is a set that summons a blizzard not as good as a set that literally just gives you magicka? Well, it's harder to synergize with a set like this versus a set that just gives you magicka. You just synergize that with having a lot of magicka. Versus this, it's like, I want to be, you know, bracing and dealing frost damage. I want a lot of health, but and chilled people. But why do I want to do it like this? Next up from Frost Vault, we have a little bit of a frost theme going here. Another dungeon set gives you stam mag recovery, and stam recovery. And then when you activate a snare or mobilizing ability or hit a target with a snare or mobilizing ability, you and up to 11 other group members gain major resolve. It increases your physical and spell resistance by 5948 for 10 seconds. If you've watched enough Golden Vendor reviews, you know immediately why this set is not good. I will give you a moment to type in the comments below. If I have imparted upon you knowledge as to why certain sets are good or bad, I will be so proud. But if you don't, that is okay. That is why we're here, hopefully while you're watching this video. And that's because Major Resolve is a named buff. You might think to yourself, Jake, what's the difference between a named buff and an unnamed buff? Well, an unnamed buff is like, I give you 5k physical and spell resistance. You're like, thanks, Jake, 5k physical and spell resistance, that's great. If I give you Major Resolve, you're like, well, I already have Major Resolve. It's already built into my skills, or I'm already getting it from my trial group who has it built in through these skills or other things. So that's the problem with a set like this, is you're overlapping yourself. If you have two of the same buff that's both major, you're not really getting any value. You can stack a major and a minor buff of the same name, but not two majors and not two minors. That's why unnamed buffs are usually significantly more valuable than others. And unfortunately, that's why a set like this is closer to like a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's not really doing a whole lot for you. And I can't remember if I gave a grade to Frozen Watcher, so I'm also going to give it a 6 out of 10. It looks cool, but that's not a reason to really recommend a set. Next up is Essential Defender. Now, this bad boy is from Southern Elsewhere, which is why it is worth almost no gold at all, because everybody there is killing dragons left and right. So if you stam health magicka, dealing damage with a non-heavy attack grants you a stack of Essentials duty at up to 10 stacks. After completing a fully charged heavy attack, you restore 757 stamina and magicka for each stack on an enemy. So if you think about it, the maximum you can get is 7,570, which is a pretty decent resource click to get. And what's nice about that is that you're getting both magicka and stamina. But that begs the problem, why do I need to restore magicka and stamina? So the number one answer for that probably are PvE tanks, especially ones who are really kind of working on, you know, getting better resource recoveries. Tanking can be very resource draining. A lot of people will, do magicka and a stamina, bar, going through and blocking and draining those resources and mixing up, utilizing skills from both. So it could be decent for that. It could also be decent for PvP tanking or just PvP building, because you're getting both magicka and stamina. A sorcerer or somebody who, really, or Templar, or somebody who really likes to use magicka and stamina could also benefit like this. Also, just certain people like to heavy attack more. The problem is it's nowhere near the meta right now, so I'm going to give it a 7 for both of those utilizations. I do think it's a good set, which is what a 7 is. It's not 6, which is just slightly above average. It's not 5, which is average. I would say this is good. I don't think, though, that majority of people are going to really find a good use for this. And I think you're kind of stretching the play patterns of people who need a set like this, because most of the time your support's going to be giving you resource recovery. If you're in PvP and you're heavy attacking frequently and just good with resource recoveries, you don't need a set like this. You've got Roxas, you have Wretched Vitality, You have tri-stat potions, you have scribing to get resource recovery. You don't really need a set like this. Next up is just a set that every PvP player should own. It is Balorgs. Now this bad boy comes from March of Sacrifice, but this is the shoulder. So this only drops from your Undaunted keys, which are a premium currency. Balorgs is a 10 out of 10 PvP set. It's one piece's weapon and spell damage, which is pretty decent. It's a good one piece if you ever need weapon and spell while combining that with a mythic. And it's two piece. When you use an ultimate, i.e. something you should be doing frequently when at PvPing, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the total ultimate consumed and physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount consumed for 12 seconds. That is a big time period. It synergizes with so many PvP mechanics. People are dropping Dawnbreakers, and pretty frequently in PvP, ulti regeneration is super popular, scribing with major and minor heroism. There's just so many ways to use Balorgs. People who are making like really big burst builds love it. You have Nightblade gank builds love this. It is just the best PvP monster set. You'd be hard pressed to find a better one. If you know of a better one, let me know in the comments below. I've been experimenting, and I don't know of a better one right now to run when it comes to PvP. It has been the best PvP monster set, bar none, since Spindle Clutch, probably for like the last 5 years. Before that, it was Spindle Clutch because Spindle Clutch was broken for a long time. And since then, it's been Balorgs, in my opinion. That's not to say there's not other good monster sets, but this is the best in slot. It's the easiest to synergize for new players. It's the most value that you can get from most monster sets for even veteran players. It is fantastic. You want to be dropping ultimates, why not get rewarded for it and use this to synergize with the ultimates you're dropping like Dawnbreaker to get an additional damage buff and just keep whipping ass on people. Next up from Black Gem Foundry is the Black Gems Monstrosity. Now this bad boy, it's one piece. To get it out of the way, is one of the best one pieces. It's offensive penetration. If you're running a mythic build where you need a one piece, offensive penetration is one of the best ones you can have for PvP, just to consider. But as a two piece, while in combat, casting a soul magic ability consumes a soul gem and gives you a black gem splitter for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds, and then dealing light or heavy attack damage fires the black gem splitter at your target, dealing 17.1% of your target's max health as magic damage, up to 17,100 in magic damage. So it's a weird set, and it is a mouthful. And interestingly, I've heard so many divisive opinions on this set that it's kind of weird. So when you have a set like this, you have to consider quite a few things. The first one is, what are you going to use it for? The answer to me is obvious. This is a ganking set. This is a set that people who are coming out of the shadows are planning to use, and you're going to stack this with a whole bunch of other procs to just throw at people. And overall, a soul magic ability is really easy to proc because you could scribe with it. You can just slap on a scribing skill that'll synergize with this. You could do all sorts of other really synergistic things because you are building out your scribing skills. You're building out obviously your 2 5-piece sets that are supporting this, or your mythic. And I think you could build a really good build with this. I'm going to give this an 8.5, closer to a 9. I think a lot of people think this set is not very good because it deals magic damage and not like Oblivion damage. But to me, you could still use a set like this very, very effectively because it's a set that's going to take people by surprise. You can proc it very easily. It's not a, hey, every time you use soul magic, it's kind of like a 30% chance that this might go off. It is, it's going to go off. Unless it's on cooldown, it's going to go off of your soul magic ability. So you can stack that with all of your other really good guaranteed procs and get a really good burst. To me, it's an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 set. I love this monster set. I think it's really good. I think it's highly slept on. I think people haven't found ways to synergize this with a lot of other guaranteed procs. And as long as you're using this set effectively, you're going to get some good value from it. Even though it doesn't do Oblivion damage, you could still do damage with this. 17,100 magic damage. That ain't nothing. That is the maximum, but it ain't nothing. But everyone, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We had some Juicer Magoocers potentially this week. We had an item you could flip upside down to create a green aroma below your house if you're ever interested in some green miasma. We had Crafty Alfeek, which is my favorite ESO set in the game. We had a best in slot set of Balorgs. It is the marquee. If you just don't know what to do with a PvP build, just slap on Balorgs. You've solved 90% of your brain thought of what you need to do for some of your set pieces. And then we had a really cool set in Black Gem Monstrosity. I think it's a super slept on set. they can give you a lot of really, really good value, especially if you're good at kind of thinking, what are some other procs that I want to be able to guarantee go off? You're going to be able to deal crazy amounts of burst damage in that very niche meta. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What really, tickled the pickle for you this week? And as always, we run 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do to enter is leave a comment in the comments below / like on the video. Second thing is just make sure you're subscribed. And the third thing is look for a hidden word somewhere on the video or somewhere in the video adjacent. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Sorry for the long rambling in this video, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.